Hello dolls, welcome back to my channel. This is Ebony Nikita KK, the Dominican princess, and I am ecstatic to be presenting this brand new video to you dolls. I will be sharing with you how you can handle an argument like a lady. If you conquer these tips that I will be sharing with you, I have no doubt that you'll still be able to maintain your femininity, a positive, good reputation, and really grow a lot within yourself as a lady. These tips are so important, especially when we're put into conflict, an uncomfortable situation, any drama as feminine ladies. Now, I have shared with you dolls in my past video how to avoid these mistakes during your femininity journey, and also how to be feminine and soft-spoken within arguments. So I will definitely link each of those videos down below for you if you dolls would like to expand on this topic. Now, these are all tips that are for the strategic. Anytime that you are about to be put into a difficult situation, be put into an argument, any source of conflict, these tips will work no matter what. And I believe that it's very important for us feminine ladies to understand our emotions and know how to navigate it and not let it control us. So within this video, I will be sharing with you dolls a couple of these vital tips that you can really take with you anywhere you go. Now, if you're new to my channel, I do post every week on femininity, elegance, and homemaking. If you would like to see more on that, then definitely subscribe to me down below and let me know where you are watching from. And also on my blog, I do expand more on the topic of femininity, being a housewife. If you would like to see more of that, my blog will be linked down below for you. Now, without further ado, let's chat dolls. Now, the very first tip for you dolls about really handling an argument like a lady, this is one of the most important ones, and that is to avoid an argument. Ladies, we do not argue in public. We do whatever we can to truly avoid it. As ladies, we avoid arguments at all costs because arguing in public is not a good look. It's not feminine. You do not look like a lady, and unfortunately, it causes bad attention on you. So if you do have the opportunity to avoid an argument, avoid it simply by foresight. If you're going to an event to where you know there's someone there that you do not mesh well with, you take precautions prior to make sure that you aren't going to be intermingling with that person. You're avoiding an argument. If you're having a conversation and it's turned into a more heated topic, something to where you're very passionate about something and then the other person has an opposing opinion and they're very passionate about it, you want to really stop and pause in the moment and see where things can lead. So you want to practice having a little bit more foresight and really trying to avoid arguments at all costs. Now, sometimes there is the part to where a conversation can escalate into an argument just like that. And it comes to that, we do have to establish some ground rules for us as feminine ladies because we aren't the type, you dolls know how I feel, we do not have the petty mindset. So we're not the type who's always ready to go for an argument. We're going to be ready to go to stop an argument, to still maintain our ladylike reputation and our femininity, and to make sure that we're not letting anyone just get us out of character, especially in public. So along with that, we want to take into perspective of the environment. The environment is very important. If you are in a social setting to where you're within someone's house, whether it's family or friends, a nice little social event, you're inside of someone's house, never argue inside of someone else's house. It is disrespectful. It looks like you lack self-control and it looks catty. Whether they're wrong and you're right, it does not matter. You do not argue in someone else's home. And if it does get to that point to where you end up arguing or the conversation just excels in a negative way, then of course apologize. If you're going to depart, you're just going to end up leaving, always apologize to the host. host. This is something that's so important because arguing inside of someone else's home, it disrupts the environment, especially if it's a party, a get-together. Either way, someone invites you into your home, you want to respect their home, and by arguing with someone, getting into a heated conversation, you're disrespecting the environment, all of the preparation that the host put together. So you definitely want to apologize. You want to apologize either right then and there. You can always pull them over to the side if you're about to leave, apologize then. You want to apologize for the interruption, for the disrespect, not to shame you whatsoever, but you want to let them know that I'm sorry that it went there. That was not my intention, and I don't want to disrespect you nor your home. So I'm really sorry about that. Having that little piece right there, that can really make all of the difference. Arguing inside of someone else's home puts the host in a very uncomfortable position because one, it's disrespecting their home, and two, they're going to be thinking, do I have to play a mediator? How do I break up this situation? We have to be very aware of our environment. Where are we? Who are we around? Who's around us? So even if you're not in someone else's home, you want to make sure, okay, is this a family get together? Is this something to where it's business colleagues? I mean, you don't want to ever cross the line and make a pleasant event something that's sour. Even if the other person initiates the argument, it doesn't matter. You want to make sure that you are nowhere connected to this person and this person was arguing or they got into conflict during this event. Now, something else to consider whenever you're in a setting and there may be a potential argument, strategically you want to check, okay, who's all here on the opposing side? You know, whenever things get a bit catty to where there's pettiness, to where there's slight comments back and forth, you want to make sure that you avoid that at all costs, of course, but also you want to see on the opposing party, okay, who's all there, right? If the person on the opposing party is there and they have their best friend and then their other best friend there and you find yourself in a heated conversation, something that's not too pleasant, you want to be aware of who's around you, simply because oftentimes whenever it's best friends or friends in general, someone else who's going to be there to defend the opposing party, they're most likely going to chime in a bit. They're going to chime in a bit, just toss out a couple of points, a couple of slight comments, and then it's going to turn into a situation to where it's 3 against 1 or to where it's 2 against 1. The conversation has gotten a little bit more heated. It's a bit more tension in the air. From a strategy point, you really don't want to engage in a heated conversation with that person because at the end of the day, you're a bit outnumbered. You're a bit outnumbered. And when I say outnumbered, it's just because best friends, again, they always do chime in. They may say something else to help defend that friend's point, or the opposing party feels stronger because they do have more numbers. They do have their friends by them. So they may feel a bit more confident to disrespect you simply because they're like, well, I have my best friends beside me. So, you know, if she wants to say something slight back, I'm sure they'll fire back at her. So you want to be very aware of where you're at, who's around you. Is this the proper environment for you to continue this heated conversation? Is this a proper environment for you to even try to calm down a situation to where you can really just have that one-on-one with that person to avoid this, you know? So you definitely want to be sure to be a bit more strategic on where you have these conversations. You have to know what's up against you, really. My next tip for you dolls when it comes to handling arguments like a lady is the fact that self-control is key. If you're able to control your emotions, the way that you react, you're able to really steer a conflict or argument in the direction that you want it to go. It's not uncommon for us to become overwhelmed by our emotions, which causes us to do such actions or say certain things. So whenever you're able to maintain your self-control, to have self-control, you're able to really use that as a benefit. So sure, you can be angry, you can be upset, you can feel like, you know what, this person is taking advantage of me, this person is disrespecting me, but again, you have that power, you have self-control. So you're able to look at things black and white and make a decision, make a response, have a positive reaction, or have a reaction that is going to pretty much benefit you in the long run. So when it comes to self-control, that also involves making sure that your mindset isn't in the petty mindset. You guys know how I feel about having the petty mindset. The petty mindset is to where you're always ready to go, you're always ready to argue, you're always ready to defend yourself, you're always ready to react. Fortunately for us ladies, we do not do that, because that does not lead into anything positive. As in, we aren't going to make sly comments, we aren't going to make petty comments, we aren't going to be nasty, we aren't going to give any insults out. Why? Because that goes back to our rule number 1. We avoid arguments. And without self-control, you are going to be leaving a lot of your values away. You are going to be leaving your feminine demeanor, your ladylike demeanor away if you do not have self-control. Because without self-control, you're not able to tame your tongue. You aren't going to be able to be slow to anger. You are going to be able to really handle these difficult situations to where, guess what? The opposing party is wanting you to snap. Opposing party wants you to disrespect. The opposing party wants you to lose. They want you to lose your self-control. They want you to really get a bad reputation of, oh, this person just snapped at me, something's going on with her. Make sure that you're not going to act out of character. Sure, this person may have said something sly or nasty remark, offensive, yes, but how can I redirect this to where it's not going to be a catty like behavior, to where this person's going to go back and forth with me, because that's honestly beneath me. I'm not going to stoop down to their level. I'm not going to do something that's a waste of my time. And again, arguments and these little back and forth of who can hurt each other worse, I mean, it's really a waste of time. So never let anyone try to use your emotions against you to where they're like, oh yeah, if I say this wrong to her, if I say this right here to disrespect her, she's definitely going to react to this. If you have no reaction, if you rise above all of that, they're just going to look foolish. They're just going to look foolish. They're going to look like they're very immature, very unladylike, and you're going to look like the person who is mature, level-headed, very ladylike. It always ends up with the other person looking very sad and sorry because they just don't know how to conduct themselves in public, to where they think it's okay to offend people or say something disrespectful. That's just how they'll end up looking. Disrespectful, foolish, very, very catty. I don't want to say high school, because there's some people who are in high school who are a bit more mature than that, but very high school girl type of mentality. If you're able to just ignore that overall, perfect. Self-control is key. Nothing else out there really matters if you're able to control what you can control. Don't worry about what other people are saying. Don't worry about if they do say something disrespectful to you. Just focus on moving on, because focus on, you know what, that little comment or what just happened here is beneath me. And as feminine ladies, we hold ourselves to a higher standard. So sure, someone who lacks self-control, someone who doesn't care about their reputation, about really growing as a person, growing as a woman, sure, they may fire back. Sure, they may, you know, try to say something sly back, try to be petty, try to engage in an argument that's really worthless and not, you know. But as feminine ladies, we hold ourselves to a different standard. We don't let things like that get underneath our skin. Now, if a conversation has truly gotten so heated that right now you're overwhelmed with emotions, and that does happen, that's reality. Someone may say something that really does get under your skin. And my advice to you is to walk away. Walk away even though it may be hard. Walk away if you may be hurt. Walk away if you just want to say something back. Walk away. Walk away. Even if you're in a conversation with someone to where they're not really being rude, but they're still disrespecting you. They're a bit more sly with their comments, so it's like, oh, I can't really, you know, fire back at them, because then they're just going to act like, oh, I just said this, I don't know why she got mad. You know how it is, some people are like that, to where they're like, oh, I didn't know you would get offended if I said this to you, something that is easily offended for you in your situation, and blah blah blah. I mean, the best thing that I will say to you is to walk away. Walking away helps a lot. Walking away allows you to get that extra breath, get that extra time to where you're able to focus in on your emotions and know how to control them. That's when you're able to practice a bit more self-control. Now, when I say walk away, I'm not saying storm off or saying, you know what, forget you and then walk away, or you know what, this isn't worth my time and then walk away. Because when you walk away, you want to still be respectful. Doesn't matter if the person disrespected you, you still want to be respectful, because that's you as a lady. You're respectful, you have manners, and you're not going to let anyone teeter that reputation that you have built up for yourself. So you're going to walk away, and you're going to walk away respectfully. If you're in a heated conversation and it's very mutual that this is a heated conversation, what you can easily say is, you can always say, I don't see this conversation heading in a positive direction, or I don't think that we're going to come up with a solution for this, or let's just agree to disagree, right? That's a classic one. Or you can say, maybe we should continue this conversation whenever our emotions are a bit more leveled. Or how about we just continue this conversation at another time? I don't think this is the right environment to continue on this conversation in. I mean, you probably won't talk about this a different time, because they already know, okay, she doesn't agree with me on this. But it's just a good thing to say instead of storming off, instead of letting your emotions overwhelm you, instead of acting out of character. I mean, these are good ways to depart from an argument. Having one of those solid statements just to depart from an argument or a potential argument will save you. You don't even have to go through those rush of emotions. If you can already pinpoint, this person is disagreeing with me, this person seems like they're very irritated by this topic, and it's a bit more centered towards me, walking away is better than having an over emotional reaction. It's always better to walk away. So I know sometimes family drama is like the worst drama, but if you're like, you know what, it sounds like we're heading in a conversation that I could potentially become very emotional about, I could potentially become offended about, you can truly use one of those statements to avoid getting into that conversation. We're here as a family, I really want to enjoy this moment, so how about we could just talk about this a different time? And we never want to disrespect family, because again, it looks bad on you, and you never want to disrespect your elders. But there are times to where you're like, okay, I can't stay in this conversation, I can't go through this right now. So you need a proper statement to break away from it without disrespecting anyone. Definitely let me know down below what was your favorite tip that I shared with you. You dolls did share with me last time some of your favorite parts about knowing how to still defend yourself, but also still maintain your feminine and ladylike demeanor. In my last video, Pure Promise commented that, and I really did appreciate her comment on still being able to know how to handle yourself and to defend yourself and still act like a lady. So I would love to know, what are some of your methods? Do you have a breakaway statement so you can get out of an argument, so you can get out of a potential difficult conversation or situation? Comment it down below. And again, let me know what was your favorite tip. Let me know what video you want to see next. And dolls, again, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to me down below. I do post every week on femininity, elegance, and homemaking. And I'll see you dolls in my next one. Bye dolls.